Hey budget friends, it's Claudine with Foxy Finances. Today I'm going to start getting ready for my May budget. I use an undated planner page for each month, and then I fill in all the dates and the paydays, and then I fill out where my bills are going to go so I can make sure that I'm tracking each paycheck appropriately to correspond with the bills that might be due. So that's what I'm going to do right now. First, I'm going to find, I'm going to use this purple to fill in the dates. So I've got my regular daily planner here. This is what I'm going to use to kind of just cross-check stuff. So May is going to start on the 1st, of course, which is a Wednesday. So I'm just going to go through 1, 2, 3, 4. May has, for me, a lot of things happening. I've got Mother's Day, got my mother-in-law's birthday, I've got my anniversary. I think that's it. I think those are the only things happening in May. It feels like a lot. We're having some out-of-town visitors coming in May for about a week. And and I've got an event at work. So I have a lot going on for May. So it's really important for me to take a look at my planner and make sure that I am accounting for anything that might require money or even just time, because I want to make sure that I don't miss anything, nothing falls through the cracks. Yeah, that's important. So let's see, May's got 31 days. Okay, so here's May, and then I've got 2 paydays in May. I get paid every other week. So the first paycheck of May, and they're on Fridays, is going to be on the 10th. So I like to just color these in green for money. And then the second one is going to be on the 24th. One of the things that I did, you may have seen, is that I put my Magic Month paycheck from, it was actually from March, and I sort of switched it up and I put it into April. And so I had kind of budgeted, well, not kind of, I had budgeted out so that, because I knew that the paychecks weren't going to fall right. And just the way that I do my budget is that I'm sort of like half a month ahead. And I just like to make sure that I have money for the bills long before they're due, but I'm not really in a position to be a whole month ahead, which would be amazing. But until that happens, this is how I do it, which I feel like is a little bit complicated for people. At least it is for me. So if you're watching it, you probably are like, what is she doing? But I'm going to try to show you, and we'll kind of see if it makes sense. So I'm looking at my calendar over here. I don't see anything specific that I need to write down in terms of the budget. I'll fill in stuff later when I'm having family in and everything, and like different guests and when we're going out to dinner and those kinds of things. But for now, I really just want to look at regular bills. So I'm going to put this planner away, and then I'm going to pull out April. So this is April, and I like to go back through the prior month and just see what is happening and make sure that I'm not missing anything. So I am going to do the regular bills in a blue pen, and then the bills that go onto the credit card every month, I'm going to write those in a red pen so that I can know when they're going to hit. And they're not always, even though they're sort of a fixed bill, every once in a while the date will fall like a day before or 2 days after or whenever I think it is. So that's partly why I like to put it on the credit card, because I don't want to auto draft stuff out of my checking account. That makes me so nervous that I can't do it, because I'm afraid that I'm going to be overdrawn, and just I don't want to even worry about that. So, okay. So for the first of the month, I have a credit card and my mortgage payment is due. So I'm going to put mortgage, and I'm going to put Fidelity card. And that is my Invisalign. If anybody's paying attention, that's my Invisalign. And then this is the Southwest credit card. And that is the one where almost all the bills fall onto this credit card. And so I need to pay this before this date. And so I will be using this paycheck to pay this bill. And so that's how I do it. So the last paycheck of the month pays for the bills of the month, the next following month, the early until this next check. So that's how I do it. And that seems to work. It seems to work fairly well. So then my cell phone is due on the 5th. Amazon credit card, which I don't really use, but it's linked to the Amazon Prime thing. Amazon is due on the 8th. On the 9th, I have another credit card. This one is a card that my daughter uses at college, so that one is due on the 9th. And then I've got Centerpoint. I'm not even sure what that is, to be honest. I think it's like gas or electric. I'm not, or something like that. I don't even know, but I know it's due on the 10th. And then, so I had Canva due on the 12th, but then I ended up paying that one in full for the whole year. So that is just going to become one of my sinking funds. So I don't need to put it onto here. And then on the 14th, my Costco card is due, which is usually just for fuel and for the car. And then also a student loan is due on the 14th. And then my escrow money, which is actually not escrow, but we used to escrow our property tax and our, property tax and what's it called? Homeowner's insurance into our mortgage, but then we refinanced and they don't do it that way, but I still save that money into a savings account and I try to do it around the 20th. It's just an arbitrary date, but generally that's when I think I usually do it with this check. So one of the two around this date. It's just a reminder for me to do it. And then on the 22nd, we have an auto savings that comes out because my bank requires me to have an automatic savings amount go in every month to my savings accounts, which I am not a huge fan of, but so I budget it that way and then it all just comes out on the same day and it goes into my savings accounts. Then usually I just transfer it back out if I need it. So that's that. And then we have wastewater due on the 29th. So that's that for the bills that I pay manually. And then we'll do let's put this over here. Then the bills that come onto the credit card. Actually, this one is a credit card, so I need to put this into red. All right, so REMC, skipped Canva. Chewy is the 17th. I actually might change this date. We'll see how that goes. Metronet, which is internet. And then I've got an Apple thing for like the extra storage or whatever. It's $5. I have two, but I can't figure out. Oh, so there's a $5 and then there's a $10 that comes out later. Let's see. Melaleuca, which is where we get our vitamins. Melaleuca. Vitamins. All right, Spotify is here. And then on the 28th, I have a whole bunch. We've got Citizens, the other Apple bill, and then car insurance for 3 cars, and then any doctor's visits that are on the auto pay thing. Okay, cool. So that is the month. That's what the month looks like. And that's a lot of bills. It is. It's a lot of bills. Okay. So the next step of what I do for my bill planning is after I get a good visual of this, like if this were not on these binders are falling over. If this was not on the credit card, I would need to sort of readjust like how I wanted to pay some of these that are right around the payday. But that's why I have it scheduled out the way I do, just because again, like I don't want to find that a bill is due and I either didn't get paid or I got paid, but I used it all for other bills. So this is how I'm doing it. Okay, so that's May. That is good. And then I do these paycheck budgets. And I'm actually going to, I think I'm going to make a book, like a binder, or a bound book of some sort, because I want all of these things in one book. I don't like having, I mean, you should see how many loose papers I have lying around. It just makes it far more complicated for me. And I just feel like if it was in a binder or in a bound book, this would be a lot easier. So I'm always trying to simplify my process. And I do find that sometimes I do things the hard way. And then I'm like, wait, why am I doing it that way? I don't know. So, okay. Let's see. So the next step here would be to budget out how much I'm going to take out in cash and how much I'm leaving in the bank for my paycheck and my husband's paycheck. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy over what we did for last month and make sure that everything is looking like it's on track. So these are these are last month's. These are for the paychecks that we got in early April, and then the second one towards the end of April. So let me take a minute. I'm going to write these down, and then I will, I'll walk you through this with me. So in taking out for cash, I put money towards the credit card, which actually I wrote down Aviator for this one, but it's really that Barclay card that I told you about that my daughter uses. So that Barclay card, I do budget for savings challenges. I budget $50 if I can, and then $300 for the credit card. Canva annual is $10. CANVA. I can't spell and talk at the same thing. Did I just say $5? It's $10. Okay. Gutters and Terminex are two things that I had totally forgotten about. So now I have little sinking funds for them, 15 and 40. And then I have a buffer or spending is like extra things. That's 15. And then Christmas is 20. And then over here, keeping in the bank for that Southwest card, the credit card that's due on like the 2nd, I've got $10.50 budgeted for that. And then from the paycheck from my husband, we're going to do almost all of the sinking funds. So vacation, I'm going to just write them down and then I'll tell you the amounts. So I've got them all written down. So vacations are going to get, and this is taking out in cash, vacations get 40, breaks get 40. There's 2 folders or 2 envelopes. Each of them gets 20. So spring break and fall break. Home warranty gets $80. Birthdays and gifts get 10. Car repairs and maintenance gets 20. Hot tub gets 50. And that's like for the chlorine and the cleaning stuff. The Barclays card gets 250. Invisalign gets 120, and the lawn gets 155. That's for mowing and like the weed and feed stuff. And then over here, tax payment gets $1,085. School loan gets $836. Centerpoint $112. Life insurance $300. Wastewater $57. College savings $50. My daughter gets $100, and autosave that I mentioned is $160, and then the lawn is another $45. This I actually might need to switch around because I did this last time because I had to save it and then also pay it. So we'll see how the lawn bill comes in. I'm not entirely sure what we're gonna have. And then I usually add these up, but because I might adjust these, I'm gonna wait to add them up until I'm all done. But we've got the first 2 paychecks and then the second 2 paychecks. So around May 24th is when I'll get paid. And then my husband is kind of variable on that. But so we'll do the same thing for all of these. Let me just write these all in and then I'll tell you the totals. got these all filled in with the total, or not the totals, but the items that are going to go into the envelopes or stay in the bank. And then for taking out cash, we're going to do 140 for gas from Costco. We're going to do 100 for Chewy for the cats, 100 for Amazon, 100 for prescriptions, 300 for my husband. That's like haircuts and gas for his car. I'm going to put $50 in for couponing, which is also household stuff. Budgeting $10 only for challenges. I'm not going to have a buffer this time unless, depending on what my paycheck is, I might be able to add a buffer. $300 for groceries, which is $75 a week. This is for the month. This is a really lean budget. There's only 2 of us at home now, but it's really difficult for me. This is where I'm always going over budget. So when you go over budget, I think the best advice that I would give somebody is if you're constantly going over budget, you need to increase your budget, which means in my case to take money out of something else and put it into groceries. But I'm really going to try to get back on track and not be spending so much on groceries because I have a pantry full of food. There's really no reason for me to be going over budget on groceries, but with the grocery prices the way they are, I feel like maybe that's part of the problem, but it's also because I really like to go to the grocery store and I need to stay away from the grocery store. Okay, so I left in the bank the Verizon bill, some money for emergency fund, and the Invisalign payment. And then down here, we're going to take out cash again for that Barclays card. I'm going to take $50 out for savings challenges to combine it with the $10 here. Oh, that's actually a lot. I might need to adjust that. That might be too much. And then lawn, I've got lawn on here again. So this is definitely going to be adjusted with the first paychecks of May to kind of see. I may not need to keep this much in, but I like to budget it just in case. And then I'm always happy to take out, if I need to, I can reallocate it for something else. All right, so we've got tax payment, mortgage, escrow, 600, and some more college. This is college savings at 300. We'll see if I do that. I frequently find that there's extra bills to pay to the school, so I might just pay this, or I'm going to transfer it to savings. So we'll see, one of those two. Okay, cool. So that is it. So now I have, I just need to firm up my totals and keep it, just make sure that everything matches. But I have done my May budget planning, which is writing it all on here, taking a look at the pay periods, writing down all my bills, how much, allocating it to certain paychecks, and I am all set for the month of May. So that feels really good. I love having this done. Sitting down to do it is a little bit difficult. I frequently don't want to do it, which is why I have to film it, because I find that if I'm filming it, then I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it early enough. And so, yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching and helping me get through this process. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a question in the comments. And that is it. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Please like this video if you've made it to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.